What's up, everybody? Patrick Thompson here on the Pinter and Patrick Show, and we're back here at Iron Athlete Performance with Adam Wasson this week, and we're going to talk about a bunch of very cool things that will help you with your fitness needs. If you're an athlete, this is going to be very, very beneficial for you, so make sure you watch this episode of the Pinter and Patrick Show here at Iron Athlete Performance. Last week we were at Anytime Fitness, North Peoria, and we talked about setting up properly for the squats and the bench press, and we even showed you some exercises to work on that posterior chain to make sure your shoulder health and upper back strength is great and your posture is good as well. So out here at Iron Athlete Performance, my name is Patrick Thompson. We're going to go see what Adam Wasson has in store for us today, so let's check it out.
I couldn't stand up. I almost fell a couple times. What up, dude?
Hey everybody, as you see, Adam is still working with some athletes today. He's a busy man. He's getting those kids ready for their high school or college sports coming up this fall. So let's go into sports here. The current week in sports, the MLB, the Cubs are back in first place. They're a game and a half up on the second place Brewers. The Cardinals are 4.5 back in fourth place. They got to get their stuff together and get ahead of those Cubs and, well, first off, get out of fourth place. Another headline that was on ESPN.com today was Aaron Judge broke his tooth in a celebration. I don't know how he does that. I mean, the guy is, what, 7'9", and he still breaks his tooth? They must have had a bat up in the air or something, high sticking like it's hockey. UFC 214 this weekend out in Anaheim, California. We have John Jones. He is 22-1 versus Daniel Cormier, 19-1 for the UFC 214 light heavyweight championship. It's going to be a close one. John Jones hasn't fought for a while now, but it's something that's going to be worthwhile. It's a rematch for those two fighters at the UFC 214. Also, local fighter from Galesburg, Illinois, Eric Showtime Shelton will be fighting Jared Brooks in the flyweight division. That's 125 pounds. Eric weighed in at 126 today. Good luck to you, Eric. Represent the Central Illinois area, and we're all proud of you regardless of the outcome. And then coming up later in August, Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. It's going to be the fight of the year. I mean, hasn't been a fight like this in a very, very long time. What's been said, from my knowledge, is that they're actually using lighter boxing gloves. That was one of the things that Conor McGregor wanted to do. He wanted lighter boxing gloves for this match because, I mean, he's a UFC fighter. He's not a boxer. But what I think is going to come out of that is that Floyd Mayweather will win in a decision, not by any knockout or anything like that. And, of course, McGregor's not going to get him in a tap out because, again, this is boxing, not UFC. Into the NFL a little bit. We have training camp starting up. At the Patriots, the Super Bowl champs, they had 15,349 fans at their training camp. Holy smokes. That's like a small stadium filled of people for their training camp. That is unbelievable. Colin Kaepernick, he might be going to the Baltimore Ravens possibly. Joe Flacco will not be playing the first game of the season, so Kaepernick, he might be going to the Ravens. But first, he might need to get his haircut, according to Michael Vick. Also, Odell Beckham Jr. thinks he's going to have the biggest contract of any NFL player coming up. I mean, he's a good player and all, but with all the stuff that he has going on with the publicity and the complaining, who knows if he even deserves that. Also, my team, the Green Bay Packers in the NFC North, they got to get off to a fast start if they really want to win that NFC North spot and be a contender for the playoffs and the Super Bowl as well. So Aaron Rodgers, he has to come off to a fast start. I don't think he should sit back and sit out the preseason games so much as he did the last couple of years. He needs to get out there, get going, get his arm loose, get accustomed to the gameplay with his players, especially the wide receivers and offensive line. NFC North predictions for me, I'm going to go with my Green Bay Packers. They're going to win that NFC North and just absolutely kill it. Into the NBA, Kyrie Irving, where's he going to go? There's about 20 teams interested in his talent. He wants traded out of Cleveland. He wants to go to teams such as the Timberwolves, Spurs, Clippers, Suns, Knicks. But in all, the Cavs are probably going to hold on to him. I mean, he's not going to go wherever he wants to go. It's up to the Cavs' decision because he's on their team right now. So I wouldn't want to go anywhere else but with LeBron James. He's the best player in the entire world. So I don't know what his big deal is. Other than that, my name is Patrick Thompson on the Pinter and Patrick Show. Thanks for watching sports. Look who I found.
What up,
Adam
Pat?
Wasson, owner of Iron Athlete Performance, wearing his sick Never Been Stronger shirt, highlighting Peoria because you gotta be proud from where you're from, right, man?
For the city.
For the city rep. We're here inside. We're gonna talk about deadlifts today. Deadlifts can range from conventional, which is your feet together, sumo, big sumo stance like that, really big sumo stance, RDLs, anything else I'm missing on deadlift wise?
Rack pulls.
Rack
there's all
pulls.
kinds of different stuff. Deficits. Big thing is anything that you're doing, you got either conventional or sumo. If that's what you're pulling in the competition. Mm-hmm. All the other stuff, you're doing that to add on to that deadlift.
Absolutely. And last week we really hit on bench and squat at Anytime Fitness North Peoria, and then 2 weeks ago we hit on the how to wear a proper belt, and then a little bit on squats, so not too much, but mainly the belt, and we'll talk about that I'm sure here in a little bit as well. But before we get into actual setup, technique, all that stuff for the deadlift, sumo and conventional, what's 5 exercises for a proper warm-up before people should do a deadlift or a squat or any of the above? I know you just had one of your clients do some stuff here.
Definitely. And the biggest thing is just first things first, getting everything kind of warmed up for your warm-up per se. So if you start stretching, you're stretching a cold muscle, that's not going to do you any good. Honestly, that might end up being a little bit more harm than good. So first thing I always do is get a sweat going, whether it's elliptical, treadmill, stationary bike, jogging, doing some skips back and forth, anything like that, just get a sweat going there. From there, do stuff to get more specific with it. So I like to do kettlebell swings, box jumps, broad jumps, really things that are specific to the exercise. So like for broad jumps, for a deadlift per se, you're pushing your hips through, coming up like that.
Right.
That's huge to do a broad jump because you're doing that exact same motion. You're just not picking up, you're just pushing it out there.
Gotcha.
Kettlebell swings, same thing. Box jumps, I do those for deadlift some, more for squat because it's kind of that upward motion, so that outward motion.
Interesting.
So what do we got there? We got get a sweat, we got box jumps, broad jumps, kettlebell swings.
Yep.
Need one more there. That's when you can toss in that static stretch there.
Okay.
So something like a couch stretch where you got your foot up behind you, stretching out that hamstring, that glute, all the way through your quad there. Something like a pigeon stretch where you got your leg under you, stretching out your hips, everything that way. The biggest thing for deadlift is getting those hips warm, because when you're pulling through there, if your hips are too tight, you're going to cave a little bit, especially like you do with sumo.
Yeah.
When you're pulling sumo, if your hips are tight, you can feel it right away.
Oh,
can't you?
absolutely, definitely.
So,
oh man, it sucks. The thing that you didn't mention, so don't go right into 225 or 135 into, I'm about to work out. I'm ready, right?
I mean, if you're trying to get hurt, trying to get that herniated disc, get your chiropractor a little bit more. Is he still sponsoring? Maybe we should tell him to do that. Get them in on that. We'll do it the right way.
All right.
So with that one, you're trying to just kind of slowly move into it there. So deadlift, I do usually start at 135. Depending on the person, all your warm-ups, you start at 135, right? Some people will do a 25 on each side, 95 pounds total. So starting real low, real easy. And before I even start with an actual deadlift, I like to get set up down a few times. So approach the bar, get your setup, step back, approach the bar again, get your setup.
Right, like
Step back, approach the bar again, get your setup. And when I say get your setup, I'm talking get all the way down into your stance, holding the bar like you're about to pull, and then you're letting go. So right here, getting that setup, then I'll step back. Get everything tight, just like you're about to pull. Pretend like you're about to pull a 500-pound pull here. Good. Step back.
now we're really talking here.
Now he's got his sumo, little cheater stance.
So we talked about the warm-ups, exercises, key exercises, gave you guys 5. The walking up to the bar, imaginary, deadlifts, sumo or conventional. So when it comes to actual setup, let's talk about conventional first. Over the last couple weeks, I talked about how to just set up for a squat and a bench press, the rack and stuff like that, for safety purposes mainly, and just general general education for many out there. For deadlifts, this is all you need, right?
This is it. This is it.
All you need is not even a platform, a floor, barbell weights, maybe some collars, some extra plates. For conventional, I don't pull conventional. I pull sumo, which is the wide stance, like a sumo wrestler. It's more comfortable for me, my hips, as Adam said. But let's talk about conventional deadlift, where a lot of people tend to injure their back a lot. So if you have back pain when you pull up or pull down or go down, you might feel this way. But I'm gonna have Adam teach me how to do conventional, because truth be told, my conventional needs work, doesn't it?
He's not lying.
He's not lying, he says. What the heck? Come on. So go ahead and just walk me through this, Adam, if you could, please.
All right, so first thing first, just like we do with squat, we're gonna get our feet set. So get your feet set in the right spot. So for conventional, I like to go about shoulder width apart, toes straight forward there. You can even go a little bit wider there, just right there.
Stance-wise?
You're perfect right there. So with that shoulder width apart, the big thing here is we're working on our leverages and that center of gravity. So when you're pulling sumo, when you're getting super wide with it, you got that center of gravity right in the middle and on the outside here. Right here, we're keeping that center of gravity real tight. The closer you got everything to your body, the tighter you're gonna stay, the more power you're gonna have there. So got your feet right here. If you look, he's about an inch from each side of the gnarl there. Just at shoulder width here, feet are straight forward. So next thing he's gonna do is grab the bar. Sorry, that's a lie. He's gonna get started, he's gonna get tight. Before he grabs the bar, he's gonna get everything tight. So when you're deadlifting with sumo or conventional, you wanna stay super tight, get your shoulder blades back, kind of like I'm sure you talked about with bench. You're gonna squeeze your shoulder blades, tuck them under a little bit there. So if you look here, he's got a big chest, squeezing his shoulder blades, tucking them back. His shoulders are down right there. This is gonna help prevent injury. He's keeping that neutral spine position, got everything tight. Once you start to round, that's when you're curving. You got everything that's gonna kind of start to go out of place there. So tight back here, right there. Now that he's got that tight back, this is where he's gonna grab the bar. So reach down, grab the bar there. He's gonna do a reverse grip. This is better for just kind of holding onto the bar, getting that grip there. If you see, he's still got a real tight back right there. His whole posterior chain, completely tight. Let's get a side view here. You can see he's got flat table right there, all the way down. There's no round in there. His butt's not coming up, no curvature. Go ahead and stand up for a second. So from there, we'll let him rest for a second here because it's tough to pull after being that tight for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's watch that setup one more time here, just in a normal speed. So feet, tight back, dropping down into place, getting those hands set. He's got a neutral spine, so all the way down, he's straight line right here. Now, he's gonna pull. So the first thing he's gonna do is take a big breath in. Fill up that belly, that core. He's gonna keep that back tight. Go ahead and pull here, Pat. Good. Let's go again there. Back down, get that breath. Squeeze. Good. Now if you see here, his bar pass, he's going straight up and down all the way there. That's how you can tell that everything's where it needs to be. Shoulder blades are tight. His back staying tight the entire time. When he gets to the top, head's at a neutral position there. Shoulder blades are right where they were when he set up. His back's tight. He's squeezing his butt real tight there, pushing those glutes through. Go back down with it there. Go and chill for a second, Pat. We'll give you a break.
Whew.
Where are you feeling that at?
Everywhere.
Perfect. Perfect. That's when you got bench, you got squat. Bench, working a little bit more chest, but it's still, like we said, a full body movement because you're using your legs. Squat, working your legs, but like we said, full body movement. You're still keeping everything real tight. Deadlift is the most legitimate full body movement because as you felt it, I'm sure, hamstrings, glutes, all the way from your calves since you're pushing through your heels there, all the way up your posterior chain into your back. I'm sure you've had days where you're going real heavy. You start to feel it in your chest even just from holding the bar back right there.
Yeah.
Feel it on the outside of your pecs. Honestly, full body movement. If there was one lift that if I only had one lift I could make athletes do, make anybody do to get in shape, get stronger, perform the right way, it's a deadlift.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know on the bench press I feel it on my legs too. So
Definitely.
like you said that it's a full body, and it is. And if you're bench pressing and you want to increase your bench, you might want to do some of this.
It's true. It's true.
So, man, why'd that make me so winded? It's that dang conventional.
You gotta do it the right way, that conventional.
So, conventional, anything else to add to that? Belt placement?
Belt placement, I like to do about the same as squat, if not a little bit higher. So we talked about with squat, you're going right above the hips. Deadlift, it's one of those where you kind of got to feel for it a little bit, depending where your leverages are and everything. I go right below the ribs, between ribs and hips there. So for me, a little bit shorter torso.
Yeah.
Right through here. For
Gotcha.
you might go even a little bit higher there. Where are you in comparison with your belt placement on squat and deadlift?
For me, I probably prefer it to be around the same.
Around the same, definitely. And that's, you're pulling sumo, so that makes sense there. He pulls sumo. When he's squatting, you do about a sumo stance there. Maybe a little bit in. So the belt placement, the leverages, everything's the same. Whereas mine, it differs a little bit because my deadlift, my feet are about here. So I go a little bit higher for my leverages. My squat, I'm about here. So it can be a little bit lower and I can still get deep there.
Gotcha. Now, he's talking a lot about leverages. Let's describe a little bit of like what the leverages are for people.
Definitely. I'll give the powerlifter meathead version. You give your CSCS college educated version.
All right.
When I think leverages, the main thing that I think is just where the weight's distributed at. So when you got like a counterbalance, like when you got any type of heavy machinery, a crane or something, so you're picking something up heavy down here, you got to have a counterweight to be able to pick that up. So that's what I'm talking about with leverages there. So for this one, the bar's right there, you're picking it up. Your leverages are going to be your butt driving through, keeping everything tight right there. So it's that counterbalance, like I said, because you're trying to pull back, keep everything real tight. So like if I were a crane, picking up something heavy right here, picking up right there.
Yep.
So my leverage in this one, I'm about right here. Right here, my leverage is coming right through there.
Gotcha.
So whereas some people, just the way they're built, like you got some bigger guys, like say WT, his leverage, he's a little bit higher. He's not going to get as low with it.
Yeah.
So he's going to pull from about right there with it.
Because he has longer legs.
He does. He's got longer legs. He's got, I mean, he's a stocky dude. He's got a big core. He's got a real strong core. Walks the same way. That's why he's so quick with it. He stays real tight, but he's got that big core, longer legs, pops up that way.
Yeah, definitely. And though he gave the meathead version, and for people out there who are good with visuals and pictures and drawings and stuff like that, picture a chalkboard and like a crane, or let's say a seesaw. You have the T in the middle here, right? You have the weight in the front. Let's say it's a really heavy load. That back side of the seesaw has to be longer in order for that weight to go up with it. So it can't be the same pressure or same length on both sides. So like Adam was talking, he was saying really drive your hips down, because think about it, you're pushing more weight downward with your butt. Weight is in front of you. You can't pick it up unless you drive your hips down. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense for you guys. I'm sure it does. But with that conventional, let's transition into sumo.
Sumo time.
My fave. So I learned a lot about the sumo deadlift from when Ernie Willybridge Sr. came down, and he really taught me, or taught all of us, how to really utilize our core strength and our hip strength on this one. Are you confident in sumo, or more confident in conventional teaching-wise, I guess?
Teaching-wise, it's one of those, teach what you know, and I pull conventional, so I'm a little more confident with that. But like you said, after working with Senior and after being out at Westside and stuff, they all pull sumo out there. So I did learn a lot about, they're all, since they're gi lifters, they're all pulling sumo. And Louis, I mean, he hardly recognizes a conventional deadlift, so.
Interesting. That's why I pull, so that means I'm really strong, I guess. Nah, I'm not that strong. But
you want to teach me this one? Since,
yeah, let's do it. I got you down.
Hardly do it.
So Adam, he's a tall dude. He has, I wouldn't say an overly long lower body with his legs. Like he said earlier, his torso is shorter, so it makes his legs look longer. For his height, they might not be. I mean, we'd have to do some measurements. That's what I like about the biomechanics is like if you get the measurements down of your limbs and stuff like that, you can really break it down to a science. That's something else that I wouldn't say it's over our heads, but it's something we'd have to talk about at a later episode because
Definitely. Might have to take a 3-hour episode for that one.
Exactly. So Adam, let's go ahead. Your feet are way too close for sumo. You're a taller dude. Let's go ahead and get wider for you. Now I'm going to have to play around with his stance a little bit because I've never really taught Adam how to deadlift sumo, especially. He might be a hair too wide depending on his stance. Let's go ahead and squat down for me. Don't pick up the bar, just grab it. So right here, his knees look like they're caving in and forward a little bit. Drive your butt back on your heels more for me. Let's bring your feet in just a smidge. Now try that for me.
That feels a lot better.
That looks better too. So it feels better, it looks better. He's able to sit back on his heels more. Now the thing with this on the sumo is he's probably a little bit more upright than you would be in your standard conventional one, you say?
Definitely.
And the reason for that is he's able to drop his hips down, get his knees out. Now this isn't my sumo, but this is the shorter version. You stand upright, breathe in, and what Ernie taught me and what I've learned is that instead of like pulling up, you want to like stand up with your legs, lock, and when you're coming up, bring your hips forward. Don't
squeeze those glutes.
Exactly. You're pulling, you're not, it's not a squat. You're bring those hips forward like that. So go ahead and do what you had with me. Do the fake imaginary pulls for me.
So get set up here.
Yep.
Now, where do you want my toes at? Do you want them pointing out a little bit, or do you want them?
I think for you need them to be in a little bit more because with your knees, since you're a little taller. I think you have a natural Q angle that caves in a little bit. Side note, ladies out there deadlifting and squatting, you have a natural Q angle that might cause a lot of ACL problems, knee problems. So just message us and we'll be able to help you out. Yeah.
Definitely.
Keep your toes how you had them the first time.
Okay. Not
too wide, but not too narrow. I think that's about right there for you. Go ahead and knock this baby out. See how he's taking his time? He's not rushing his setup. Getting engaged, good. Nice, do one more here for us. Really sit back on the heels. Bracing in. Belly buttons pressed against the belt. Good. All right. You feeling good about that?
Feeling real good.
Let's go ahead and do a couple pulls here for you. Let's do three in a row.
Right on.
Normally he wouldn't be deadlifting in khakis, but that's okay.
Try not to rip the chinos, you know.
Reverse grip, sitting back heels, lock, pop. Drop, lock the knees, pop the hips. You might end up pulling sumo after this. Nice. Very nice. So our forms are perfect right now with the conventional and the sumo stance. I mean, I think you would agree that once it gets heavier, our form's going to suffer a little bit.
Definitely.
Key things that I said last week into this week, don't rush your weights going up. You can definitely agree with that one. I mean, if you're rushing your weights too fast week by week, day by day, you're probably going to get hurt, and you don't want that to happen. Your lifts are going to suffer, and then the discouragement's going to happen.
Exactly.
So if you guys are out there doing any type of conventional or sumo style deadlifts, just take your time, get your form down, and then just seek help too as well. You can email myself, Patrick at ptxpt.net. Adam, what's your email?
Wasson, AWASSON 93 at Gmail.
At Gmail, okay. So just questions on your form. You can always tag us on Instagram. Mine's PTXPT.
AWAS93.
Same as his email for the most part. So anything to add to these two? I mean,
not a whole lot there. That's really get that form down. Don't go heavy with it. Once you start going heavy and you see your form break down, stop right there. take 10 to 20 pounds off, working sets. Do that till you get that down. There's no reason to rush it. No reason to jump through, start pushing that form or start pushing the weight too much. Sacrifice form there.
Absolutely. Other than that, guys, take your time, keep at it. My name is Thompson on the Pinter and Patrick Show with guest Adam Wasson of Iron Athlete Performance. Always doing a stellar job with what he does.
Thank you, Pat.
He had a lot of athletes this afternoon. We're lucky to get him in, so thank you, buddy.
It's been a good time for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this episode of the Pinter and Patrick Show here at Iron Athlete Performance with owner Adam Wasson. He talked about 5 exercises to get warmed up for a proper deadlift, whether it's conventional or sumo. Like we said at the end, make sure you guys out there who are exercising, whether it's doing weight training like bench press, deadlifts, squats, running, anything you do in terms of improving your health and fitness, never go too fast. Don't do too much too soon. Always listen to your body, like Adam said, and just seek guidance or seek someone that you may know that will help you, decrease your risk of injury or improve your chances of going on throughout your training regimen or just your general health and fitness. So again, Patrick Thompson on the Pinter and Patrick Show here at Iron Athlete Performance with owner Adam Wasson. Tune in next week for the Pinter and Patrick Show on Peoria Life.